What's meant for you cannot miss you. This is something that I've realized time and time again. When I don't force something, when I actually don't give a shit about it and don't care at all, that's always when it happens. That's always when it comes into my reality. When I'm trying to achieve a certain goal or manifest something or whatever it is, if I'm trying to get a specific person to like me, to show interest in me, whatever. The key to detaching and like playing it cool and getting everything you want out of life is literally not giving a flying shit about it. And the beauty about the universe is that what's meant for you will never pass you by, and what's meant for you will never miss you. I had something happen to me fairly recently that really made me understand this concept even more. There was a person in my life where we both didn't really have any interest in like meeting up or like planning a proper date. I had zero interest in getting to know this person. We were like going back and forth on text for a couple of weeks, I would say, and we just like couldn't make a solid plan. It was very clear that both of us were not interested at all whatsoever in each other. We like did not want to go on the date or meet up. I'm at a place in my life where I don't want to waste my time, right? I'm in a place in my life when it comes to dating. If I'm dating you, I'm gonna like really invest my time if I really like you. Otherwise, there's no point in just like going on one or two dates and never seeing you again. I know what I'm looking for, I know what I want, and I'm very clear on my boundaries, and I'm very clear on my standards and the type of person that I want to end up marrying. So for me, I think a huge thing when I was approaching this person in this situation was like, I don't want to waste my time and get stuck on a date and just be like in the same cycle and loop that I've done in the past with other people, where you go on a date, you get to know each other, and then you realize it's just like, ugh, like it's more draining than it is exciting. So anyways, the whole point of that story was I did not make any sort of effort to see this person, and he didn't make any sort of effort to really see me, and we were both just like whatever. And then we tried to make a plan and we both canceled. Then we tried to make another plan, we canceled again. And it was just like this weird back and forth where I was like, okay, this is probably not happening, so whatever, I don't give a shit. The third time we attempted to hang out, I guess, he had said, oh, like maybe the third time we'll be lucky. I was like, all right, whatever. Didn't think too deeply into it, but we did end up very last minute meeting the third time around. The funniest part of it all was that we actually both almost forgot that we even planned something again. The lack of interest on both parts was like kind of funny looking back. But when we actually did meet up, we got along really well, and we were both really unbothered that it worked. Now, when you're in that unbothered energy state where you're not expecting anything and you literally do not give a shit, as I just said earlier, that's when magic really happens. In any connection, in any situation, in any aspect of life, it's like the less you care, the more you get. The less attached you are to a certain outcome or situation or person, there's a chance you might be surprised. And that's the beauty of life, and that's the beauty of the game of life, is that sometimes we're pleasantly surprised by a situation. I don't know like where this person fits into my life, and I promised him I was never gonna speak about anything related to him on the podcast, but whatever. I think he would appreciate this message anyway, because it's a positive one. The whole point of this story is that what's meant for you can't miss you. And if there's a connection with someone, if there's someone that you're supposed to meet, if there's someone you're supposed to cross paths with, or if there's a work opportunity you're supposed to get, or if there's a place you're supposed to travel to, if there's a thing that you're supposed to experience, if there's an experience that you're supposed to experience, it will not pass you by. What's meant for you cannot miss you. And this is really the golden rule of detachment, okay? The universe is too precise and too magical to have you miss out on something that you're supposed to experience. If something is truly meant to be yours, or if you're supposed to meet someone, or you're supposed to get that job, or you're supposed to move to a different country, it will happen in perfect divine timing. Not everything is going to happen immediately, because God and the universe has a plan for you to experience it in divine timing. So for example, with this person, the first 2 times we tried to meet, it just wasn't the right timing at all for either of us. And I think I was in a really bad mental state. Like, I just wasn't feeling great. The first couple times we tried to meet up, I was like, I'm not in a place to have a conversation with anyone right now. From his perspective, I think he also was not ready to engage with me or meet up with me because I think he was still entangled or involved with someone else that I really still know like nothing about. But the whole point was that we both were not ready timing wise to meet with each other the first 2 times we tried to meet up. And then the third time, I think it was the right timing. But even then, it was just like, we didn't try. There was no effort really involved. It was just like, okay, I guess we're gonna meet. And we were both pleasantly surprised by how well we got on, how well we connected. And regardless of what that connection is in my life and what role he plays in my life, because like I ended up having to leave London and basically just move for multiple reasons, partly visa, partly just I needed to clear my head, and the city can be really intense. It was just an interesting experience because it taught me that sometimes the less you really put an emphasis on something and the less you plan something and try to orchestrate it and force it and control it, the more you'll get out of the experience, or there's a higher chance that you're going to be surprised by the experience. And life can take you in a direction, just in general, that you never would have expected if you just kind of surrender and detach and let go and just live in the flow. Something I've also seen, just reflecting on my past experiences, is whenever I've tried to control the outcome of a situation or a relationship or anything, it never worked out the way that I wanted it to. There was always so much resistance. And when we create resistance around something, it's forcing yourself to go against a current. It's forcing yourself to do something that's completely out of alignment. And it can cause so much stress in the body. It could cause so much unwanted fear, anxiety, and doubt. And it could actually hold you back from what's meant for you, from what's truly meant for you. There's this quote that I think Steve Jobs said, and it's like, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. You don't really understand why things happen the way they happen in real time. It makes no sense, and the timing of things often doesn't make sense, and we're very impatient, and we're very like, why isn't this happening? Why can't I manifest what I want? Why can't I get what I want? Why does this person want me back? Why isn't this job thing working out for me? But oftentimes, after all of the trials and errors and bumps in the road and like things we go through, it all makes sense at the end of the journey, at the end of the road. After we've gotten what we've wanted, it finally adds up and makes sense. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. And I love that quote because I feel like my whole life has kind of played out that way. Every time I've questioned the universe and I've questioned like why something isn't working out exactly the way I had expected, it always makes sense why things happened way after the fact. A huge example for me personally is the birth of my podcast and even this YouTube channel and all the content I'm creating and everything I'm doing now for work. I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be in my purpose, and I wouldn't have this career and be creating content and videos and engaging in like helping people if I hadn't gone through the worst relationship I've ever been in my life. When I was with my ex and I was, going through a really dark place in my life, I couldn't get out of this toxic cycle because when you're in a relationship that's very toxic, the hardest thing to do is walk away because you're so deep in it. And when you don't have good self-worth and you're with someone that knows that and can capitalize on it, it's really, really hard to walk away. And I remember when I was at that place in my life where I was struggling to walk away, I was really unhappy, I kept asking myself, why is this happening to me? Like, why do I have to go through this pain? Why do I have to go through this heartbreak? There were just so many things that happened where I felt like it was very unfair. I felt like I was dealt this really unfair, tough hand of cards during that period of my life. And now, a few years later, as I've created this brand around self-love, women empowerment, divine feminine energy, really knowing your worth, really knowing your power and what you bring to the table, and I've helped a lot of people out of their toxic relationships and find true love and find the loves of their life, I realized why I had to go through all of the shit that I went through. Like, I truly, truly realized that even though in the moment it was the hardest thing I ever had to experience, I understand now why I had to experience it, right? I wouldn't have the knowledge and the wisdom I have under my belt now to help other people heal and to help other people move on from their relationships if I hadn't experienced that myself. So that's just one example, but there's been countless times where I've experienced something positive or negative, however you want to frame it, and I question, like, why? Like, what's what's the deal with this? Like, why is this happening? And then later, I was able to connect the dots and really understand why I had to experience it. The other thing is, you're just seeing the present. The human mind only can focus on the present. But in the 4D, the universe sees the full picture. It sees the whole movie of your life. It sees the whole trailer of your life, whereas you're just seeing a snippet of the present moment. When you get really caught up in the present moment and what's currently happening in your physical reality now, it can be so hard to see the bigger picture. And this is something that I've had to learn and really wrap my head around, because it's so easy to be deceived by what's right in front of you. But if you trust that there's a bigger plan for you and that God has a greater plan for you, it takes the weight and the pressure off of your life. And it makes detaching a whole lot easier. I think for me, a huge thing with detachment was always the fear of the unknown and actually not knowing what came next. And the fear that if I let go of something, it wouldn't be replaced. And I was like living in this fear where I was like, if I let go of this person, if I let go of this one thing, I'm never going to find anything better. But the truth is, if something is getting cut from your timeline, and if someone is not treating you the way you deserve, or if you feel that urge to walk away, it simply means that situation or that person is just not a part of your future story. They're just not a part of your future timeline, and that's okay. And once you accept that and you realize that everything that leaves your life is replaced with something better, and everything that you have to let go of is always replaced with something better by divine law, if you trust in the universe and the higher plan, and you trust in the timing of your life, and you trust in the process of your life, everything will feel a lot lighter. The laws of the universe are amazing, because if you feel a lot lighter and you clear the resistance and you clear the fear of like the unknown and, you know, any fears or doubts around your future, what happens is you start to feel lighter and you start to feel freer and you start to feel good. And when you feel good, good things happen to you. When you feel more positive, positive things start to happen for you. It's about feeling good. Life is about feeling really good. Abraham Hicks always says, the more you lean into what feels good and what feels aligned, and when you're purely in alignment, the universe has no choice but to hand you what you want and more. Sometimes you don't even know how good it could actually get for you, and you're asking for too little. And that's also why a lot of the times when we're trying to manifest someone back into our life, they're not coming back because the universe knows you deserve a million times better. That's why they're not coming back. If you're like, oh, I feel like I've detached and I'm trying to get them back into my life, and they're not texting me and they're not begging for me back, yeah, there's a reason. Most likely you deserve a million times better. If you're trying to beg someone to come back, if you're trying to have them come back into your life, there's a very high probability they left your life for a very good reason, because they didn't deserve you, and they didn't deserve how incredible and amazing you are, because you're an amazing person with an amazing heart, and you deserve someone a million times better that's going to appreciate that the first time around. I'm going to make a longer part 2 on this video, but I just wanted to kind of share that story time and just inspire you if you have been struggling to let go, move on, detach from a person or a situation, to really trust in the higher plan and to really try to sit back and lean into the magic of life. When you're just in flow and you're just in your divine feminine and you're in receiving mode and you're open to multiple possibilities and you're not just fixated on one thing or one outcome, that's when everything gets really good. And that's when the magic really starts to happen in your life. And if you want to learn how to detach even deeper and you want to go deeper with this work and you really want to get over someone as quickly as possible, the link for my masterclass, Dare to Detach, is in my YouTube bio, as well as my other masterclass, Mind, Body, Soul Reset. Both of these masterclasses are designed to help you let go of toxic cycles and step into a brand new reality where you are the most powerful, confident, badass version of yourself. You will be completely transformed after taking these courses. If you use the code Golden Aura at checkout, there's an amazing sale on the masterclasses right now, an amazing discount. Go grab them. They're still available for a limited time only. I love you. If you have any questions for me, also always feel free to DM me at Lyss, Lyss on Instagram. Have an amazing day and stay tuned for future episodes.